Good afternoon. I will call this organizational meeting of Council of the Municipality of Jasper to order for October 24th. I understand that there are two councillors there, Councillor Melnick and I see Councillor Keller-Rempe, and there's Councillor Waxer. So we have all of council with us, which means that we can do all of the business necessary to be conducted at an organizational meeting. I will attempt to move quickly because I understand that Councillor Waxer, who is furthest east among us, has obligations that she would like to get to as soon as possible. So if we can all bear that in mind, might I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda for today's meeting? Councillor or Deputy Mayor Demota, thank you. All those in favor? There are none opposed. That is carried. First order of business is to set the date, time, and place for regular meetings of council. Typically or currently, the date is the first and third Tuesday of each month, commencing at 1:30 p.m. at the quorum room in the Library and Cultural Center. Is there anybody who wants to either change that, suggest a change, or propose as a motion that we continue with our regular council meetings at that date, time, and place? Councillor Wilson?
I make a motion that we continue the same council dates as we have them for the 2023 year, 2024 year.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Is there any debate on that motion? So first and third Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m. in the quorum room, or from PEI or the mountaintop somewhere, or the middle of the Pacific Ocean as Zoom will allow. Seeing no objection, I will call the question. All those in favor? There are none opposed. That is carried. There is not a motion carried. Well, I'll get to it. We also have an obligation to set the date, time, and place for committee of the whole meetings. Again, the current schedule is second and fourth Tuesdays of each month at 9:30 a.m. in the quorum room. Is there any suggestion of a change to that? Is anybody interested in making a motion that we continue that schedule? Councillor Demota?
Yeah, I was waiting to give somebody on Zoom an opportunity. We're here, but I don't mind moving that. I'd like to move it and keep the same schedule and what's been provided to us in our council meeting calendar.
Thank you for that. Any debate on that motion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? There are none opposed. That is carried. Councillor Demota, you just made reference to the calendar, Jasper Council meeting calendar for 2024. It is not specifically on the agenda, but ought to be approved. And since it is a part of a meeting schedule, so a councillor prepared to make a motion still under meeting schedule, agenda item 3, to adopt the Municipality of Jasper 2024 council meeting calendar as attached to the agenda. Councillor Demota?
I just have one comment. I don't see anything about a community Christmas party in there in the past. We used to have a date set for that, so that would just be a not set time.
December 13th is chosen.
Oh, look at that. I just didn't see that in the, it wasn't highlighted in the box. I apologize. I didn't see it. I was putting two and two because I was matching all the colors. My fault. It's there. Sure. I like that.
Is there a councillor prepared to make a motion that council adopt the 2024 council meeting calendar?
I see Councillor Waxer's hand up.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. That is the motion from Councillor Waxer. Any debate? All those in favor? There are none opposed. That is carried. That takes us to agenda item 4, deputy and alternate deputy mayor positions and length of office. Again, current schedule is 2-month rotating schedule from deputy mayor to alternate deputy mayor in that order. The schedule was randomly selected with some assistance to random. Is there anyone interested in readjusting the current rotation or the current schedule?
Talking about deputy mayor.
Yes,
So then,
go ahead.
sorry, for clarity, if no one's interested, do we all want to assume the same time frame? Unless somebody wants to change it. I was just gonna ask if everybody knew what that was.
Yeah, I have mine blank on here, but so I guess, sorry.
If it would be helpful, council, I can repeat the order from the 2022-2023 calendar. So my understanding was that for the first period, it was Deputy Mayor Hall, alternate Deputy Mayor Demota. The second period was Deputy Mayor Wilson, alternate Deputy Mayor Hall. The third period was Deputy Mayor Melnick, alternate Deputy Mayor Wilson. The fourth period was Deputy Mayor Waxer, alternate Melnick. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth period was Deputy Mayor Kelleher MP and alternate Councillor Waxer. And then the final period was Deputy Mayor Demota and alternate Deputy Mayor Kelleher MP.
Okay. Looks like it.
Does a continuation of that schedule represent an issue for any councillor? Might I have a motion then that rotation be continued? Councillor Wilson? Thank you for that. Any debate? I'll call the question. All those in favor? There are none opposed. That is carried. Committee structure, the most favorite part of the committee of the whole or the organizational meeting. And so I apologize that you were just seeing this now. I thought it had gone out. It hadn't, because there was a gap in it. So even earlier today, I was hearing lobbying for certain committees. My recommended appointments, subject to council approval, are before you. I can say that I received requests from all of you, none particularly surprising, but for Councillor Melnick, who was prepared to continue service on one particular committee, to his credit. what I have tried to do is configure this with balance in mind, and so we have 4 counselors with 5 appointments and 3 counselors with 4 appointments. Every counselor has 1 alternate role, save Counselor Waxer, who will have 2 subject to approval of the agreement. So Counselor Demoda, going alphabetically, I have recommended Jasper Community Housing Corporation, Human Resources Committee, Legislative Committee, Jasper Partnership Initiative, West Yellowhead Community Futures, for a total of 5 appointments plus an alternate on the Adults Community Conversation. For Councillor Hall, Jasper Community Housing Corporation, Human Resources, Legislative Committee, Library and Regional Library for 5, and as an alternate on West Yellowhead Community Futures. For myself, I would sit on the Seniors Community Conversations, Emergency Advisory Committee, Legislative Committee, West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority, Jasper Community Team Society for 5, and as alternate on the Jasper Partnership Initiative. Councillor Kelleher MP, I've called it the CONI. I think it may still appear as Hospitality and Twin Municipalities, but it's the same intent. Evergreens Foundation, Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association, and the Rural Renewal Stream for 4 appointments, and on the Youth Community Conversation as an alternate. Councillor Melnick, Emergency Advisory Committee, CONI, Human Resources, Jasper Yellowhead Historical Society, and West Yellowhead Community Futures for 5 appointments, and as an alternate on the Jasper Community Housing Corporation. Councillor Waxer on the early childhood BCCC. Now I've forgotten the abbreviation. I've forgotten the full word. Early childhood and school age community conversation, Emergency Advisory Committee, CONI, and Community in Bloom for 4 appointments, an alternate on the Seniors Community Conversation and on the Yellowhead Regional Library for 2 alternate appointments. And Councillor Wilson, the Adult Community Conversation, Jasper Community Housing Corporation, the Regional Assessment Review Board, and the West Yellowhead Regional Waste Management Authority for a total of 4 appointments, and alternate on the Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association. Based on discussions from the last committee of the whole, we had directed administration to come back, I think, at the strategic planning session in 2024 to look at other boards and committees. So I have deleted from appointment for now the Folk Fest, which was uncertain. And I've also deleted as a separate appointment the Uplift Jasper Mural Festival, although my intent was that our existing appointment on that, which was Councillor Wilson, for now could continue to be covered under the representative for Communities in Bloom. It seems to fit very well with Communities in Bloom. So for the time being, I would propose that that transfer from Councillor Wilson to Councillor Waxer in her role as the representative for Communities in Bloom. And I thank Councillor Kelleher for that really excellent suggestion. I think that it is appropriate that it not be a standalone appointment, but it certainly is integral to the notion of Communities in Bloom. So that seemed to fit. So those are the boards and committees, external and internal, and the one corporation that we have, and that is my recommended approach, but it is open to councillors to approve or not approve or make whatever changes, recognizing that one of the goals is to try and equalize the workload. And I know that there are councillors who would prefer to be on some other committees, but don't necessarily want to give up the ones that they are on either. So that is a proposal for you.
I have a question. Sure.
Councillor Coyle.
Just in regards to the commitments, I'd like to know how often that the Jasper Housing Corporation, the Jasper Community Housing Corporation meets, and the level of obligation there, because I used to sit on that one years ago, and I know that it's changed quite a bit.
I can speak to that, Your Worship, Councillor Demota. So at this stage, the Jasper Community Housing Corporation, I believe, has one meeting left in this calendar year. Has been following a process of probably every quarter, and is going to change. As council knows, council has supported the creation of the Jasper Municipal Housing Corporation, which is a different entity. Council will face some decisions going forward for appointments to that board. And so I would imagine that Mayor Ireland intends this to be sort of a transitionary appointment, and there will be decisions to come still on who sits on the Jasper Municipal Housing Corporation Board, the newly formed board, the MCC. So this is, to be clear, this is for the Community Housing Corporation, the existing entity, and we have one meeting left in this year, and so the responsibility will be essentially to manage things as we transition to that new board, and then hand off, and council will have some decisions to make about appointments to that upcoming board.
So I appreciate that, and then expanding on that, if I may, Your Worship, your assignments to these would be assuming that you would like the appointed ones to continue on to the next iteration of what this encompasses.
Are you referring to the transition from JCHC to the MCC?
This is just a 1 month thing.
Well, I would anticipate if the appointees are happy to be in the housing realm, that would be probably a valid expectation, but it's not cast in stone.
All right. Well, that's good. I guess for me, I appreciate that you considered me for that, and I'm not sure if it was for the sake of balancing or that I would be a good fit there. And either way, I appreciate it. So I'm a little upset, or I should say disappointed that I didn't get adult community conversations, but I'm willing to back up Councillor Wilson.
On the question of community conversations, as I understand it, we are now down to 3. So even with 3 appointments and 3 alternates, there is some councillor who is going to get left out. But with the combination of early childhood and school age, things have changed. And the advice I got from those appointed members is that there's no point in having 2 people appointed, but that does not stop any councillor from attending any community conversation they wish.
And again, I know I spoke a lot today, Your Worship, but thank you very much for taking the energy again. And I know this isn't easy. I'm certainly appreciative of the assignments I got, and honored to represent every single one of those. So I also appreciate that mine came in late, but I did get my picks in 2 days after it was given notice. So if you look at the length of time it took, I wasn't the last one, but you look like you got everything done to people's satisfaction. Now I'll stop talking.
I assure all that the order of having received the request made no difference. As long as I had the request, they were back. To keep the process going here, might I first look to a counselor to approve the list of committees and boards as presented? So regardless of the appointed counselors or the alternates, just that list of council boards and committees, community conversations, corporations, and external boards and committees. Are there any that are missing that should be on there, or are there any on there that could be deleted? So I'm looking for a motion, if I might, to approve the list of committees and boards as presented. Councillor Keller-Ramsay, thank you. Any debate? I'll call the question. All those in favor? There are none opposed. That is carried. Thank you. And then the second question, more difficult perhaps, and maybe you still need a few moments, but I will need a motion either that council appoint the councillors to boards and committees as presented, or somebody can propose changes and we'll deal with that.
So you can repeat yourself.
I'm looking for a motion, Councillor Wilson, either to appoint the councillors to the boards and committees as has been presented, or a motion to make different appointments.
I'll make the motion that we appoint the councillors to board and committees as presented.
And I'm just confirming, and Ms. Acorn is nodding in the affirmative, that the three councillors on the screen have received email copies of those proposed appointments. Thank you. All right, before I call the question, any councillors have anything to debate on the motion? And recognizing as well that council can adjust appointments through the year if necessary, if other matters arise, and there's always the potential that new appointments will arise and that will require some adjustment. So it's not that you're locked in, but we need to have a starting point. So I have the motion to approve the list as presented. I see no hands up. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? There are none opposed. That is carried. Thank you very much. And I do appreciate the effort you all went to inform me about what was working and what wasn't and where you wanted to be. And I've tried to give you all at least some of what you asked for. I think everybody got something. Agenda item 6, strategic priorities. Our strategic priorities developed for the term 2022 to 2026 is attached to today's agenda. Unless there are proposals for changes to those strategic priorities, and of course we will be reviewing priorities, I think in February of the new year, not sure of the date. So they may change at a later time, but for now, we're looking to confirm that those are the strategic priorities to which council is currently committed. Councillor Melnick.
I would make a motion to accept the strategic priorities that we are committed to at this point until our meeting in February. 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 F
Thank you, Councillor Melnick. Is there any debate on that? Seeing nothing, I will call the question. All those in favor? There are none opposed. I think we have completed our organizational task. Councillor Waxer, you have more pressing matters to attend to, so if you wish to make a motion to adjourn, well, you can't just wave.
That was very regal, by the way.
All right,
I happily will make that motion.
all right. All those in favor?
I started in
Oh.
the dark and she's ending in the dark.
Yes. And we're just perpetually in the dark. All right, thank you. That motion is carried. Thank you all for your forbearance. We made it through a very long day. If there is anybody on the Zoom platform, thank you all.
November 7th.
Oh, that's right. We, next Tuesday is neither a third or fourth Tuesday. It's a fifth Tuesday, so no meetings, although I think we do have a task force. I think we have communications.
Media training.
Media training. So council will be together, but no public meeting. So for those who have been watching, members of the public on Zoom, it will be November 7th when we join you again. So thank you all. Good day.